talking about tools that get the job done, and in this case, I didn't bring nothing else with me, so this is the only tool that I have outside of my phone. I'm pretty set on my tools versus just kind of having a bunch of things for the sake of having them. So I do have a Sigma 35 because that's just my favorite lens, so I'm just always going to have one of those. I have a 16 mil, and that's for if I do end up vlogging with the R5. Then I have my, like I said, my 24 to 70, two 70 to 200s. The 270 to 200s is the back cam at the church and the front cam at the church when I'm, following Andrew. And then, that's pretty much that. But with my content, I don't want to overthink the process because I overthink it so much that I end up not doing it. That's why I'm kind of challenging myself right now to, even though I don't really always like the way that the shots look on the pocket, I'm challenging myself to use it to, just to make stuff and be consistent again. Again, when I was using the 35, even though it didn't look the best because it was so close to me, I was consistent because I didn't have decision fatigue. There was no, I don't want to put it on a tripod. I just didn't put it on a tripod, but I don't want to put it on a tripod. I don't want to do this. Like now I got all of these tools that I can create stuff with for my own personal work that I don't want to do nothing. So hence I have the pocket. I'm gonna go ahead and land this plane. Today is my wife's birthday. Tomorrow I'm gonna get up with the homie Angel and we're gonna kick it for a little bit before I head up out of here. So I'll probably capture some of that, and whatever I come up with tomorrow, I guess I'll go ahead and add that in here, but I'm gonna go ahead and land this plane. Alright, so I know I talked about like tools, friction and creating and all that, but the whole point of how this thought even came about was just more so I never used to shoot for perfection. I used to always just shoot for fun, and I'm pretty much getting back to that. And the fun in the shooting was just whatever I had or whatever I could afford at that time, starting with a T6i and then moving on to a 80D and so on and so forth. It was just like, what can I make with that? And then at that time I only had the 24 mil and the 50 mil. Those was literally the only two lenses I had. So whether I was trying to do client work or I was just trying to get some practice in when I was doing real randoms, that was literally the goal, was to just have fun. I wasn't trying to be perfect because I wasn't good enough, and perfect don't exist, but I just was constantly trying to get better. So, I'm just pretty much back to that. Just creating whatever I got at that moment in time, or being really intentional about like what I leave the house with. So instead of having this and the R5 and the C70 to go downtown and shoot a real random, it's like, look, we just gonna take the Sigma 35 and the R5 and that's that. Or we're gonna take the C70 and the 24 to 70. We're gonna be real intentional about like what we leave the house with. Ain't no point in leaving the house with 3 cameras and you can't use all 3 of them. And then you don't know what piece of gear to pick for this. Well, I could use this for that, and then it has the gimbal, and it's just a lot. Another tool that I wanted to talk about is actually the internet. Now, the first time that I stepped foot in Arizona, it was because of the internet. We was playing Call of Duty during the pandemic. Me, YC, Ryan, Angel, and Angel already stays in Arizona, and it turned in that we should do a trip to Arizona just to get out the house, because at this point we had been in the house for months, just playing Call of Duty and eating snacks and drinking all day, right? You know, I can even go further than that. Like when I was rapping actively, Motor General is one of my best friends. At this point, I literally consider him like family, my brother from another. And I met him through the internet. I don't remember exactly how it went, but we pretty much liked each other's stuff, and you know, one reached out to the other. We did a song together, and then I ended up meeting him for the first time in person in Fresno. He was able to get me onto a slot for the show that he was doing, and it was the second one because they were doing like an annual thing, and this was the second one. He was able to get me onto that, and me and him had a song together, so I actually ended up on his set. And then, you know, from that point our brotherhood forged. It's been over 10 years now that I've known him, but I met him from the internet. So I like the internet as a tool too. Obviously it's a bunch of negative stuff out there, but there's just as much positive if you're looking in the right place. And I've found some of my best friends actually on the internet. So between some of the people that I named and, you know, quite a few people that I haven't, but I've also gotten work from the internet. There's a friend of mine that I work with named Brandon. I met him through Instagram. And then from there, I met somebody else. He referred me to somebody else. And then now I have this gig that I'm about to do Saturday for orchestra conductor, and he's become a good friend of mine, all because of the internet. So with all that being said, I mean, the internet is a solid tool as well. It's not all about the cameras and the lenses and so on and so forth, especially if you're just starting out. Just shoot something, focus on, you know, picking up the intangible tools of the craft, framing and lighting and, you know, all of those things that you can still do that while you have a cell phone. You know, in most cases it would probably be natural lighting, but that's a completely different conversation. So I just want to jump in real quick. We packing and getting ready to go home, and I've been taking a walk the last couple of days, so I just want to come out here and take a walk and, you know, close out this vlog properly, which I kind of already did once, but I wanted to go ahead and end this one instead of tacking on everything that's about to happen this week. I didn't want to tack it on. I want to go ahead and finish it, and then tomorrow I actually have a shoot. So I want to go ahead and start a new vlog from tomorrow up until whenever I decide to end it. I don't really set times on like, well, I'm going to do a week in the life, or I'm going to do this. I'm going to just do until I feel like I have what I want, which there's no real theme or anything for it, but I'm going to do till I feel like I have what I want, and then go from there. And yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and close this one because this dude is cutting his grass, and I don't know how it's gonna affect the audio because I don't have a mic. So like and subscribe for the good vibes.